War explained. Wars are always devastating. They don't just simply cause land destruction but also malign the infrastructure of a country. This is what is exactly happening in different countries as a consequence of the bloodshed taking place in Ukraine. The Russian invasion of Ukraine. This invasion has already caused a substantial amount of setback to the world economies. If this further persists, growth might be simply pushed onto our wish lists. In this video, we'll be looking over the economic repercussions caused by the war of Russia and Ukraine. So therefore, stay with us till the end of this video to thoroughly understand the entire global economic setback. But before getting further into the video, ensure that you have subscribed to our channel. And with that being done, why not also click on the bell notification to keep yourself updated with similar affairs? With all that done, let's dive into the video. The Russian invasion. Russia intruded into Ukraine on 24th of February in light of its technological and economic advancement. Though Russia suffered not to the same extent as Ukraine because of unleashing one of the deadliest wars on the continent, which has had many consequences. One of the major setbacks and consequences was in terms of economic loss. The loss is not only confined to the two countries but has spread to many other countries, posing a great deal of threat to global economies. This impairment will take a decent amount of time to recover. According to IMF, International Monetary Fund, expectations of global economic growth have been slashed as this war is having earth-shattering effects on different countries because Russia is not just a big country, but also a big exporter of many resources upon which other countries rely. With this war unleashed, the supply of many resources from Russia to other countries has been cut down, which has resulted in slower development and thus has had an overall lower economic growth effect. The statistics are supporting the fact that the global economic growth is approaching to a complete halt, as in 2021, the world economy was projected to grow at 6.1%. Nevertheless, with this war being the center of attention and a major manipulator of global indicators due to the involvement of a superpower, the world economy, according to IMF, is now projected to expand at 3.6% in 2022 and 2023, which is a sharp decrease. The aforementioned stats are also consolidated by the World Bank's indicators, which project the world economy to expand by 3.1%. Why does the war impact other economies? The world economies were already navigating themselves out of the suffering posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Russian invasion of Ukraine is an icing on the cake. Russia and Ukraine are major commodities producers in the continent, being the suppliers of food, energy, and other vital resources to different countries. With these producers and suppliers being involved in a conflict, the production has been substantially affected by the war efforts, with supply to other countries halting by Russia and Ukraine so that they can satisfy their national demands. Inflation is on its way to boom. This conflict has and will cause even greater inflation in the continent, as other countries will have to espouse more expensive routes of acquiring the resources. This will devalue the incomes of people living in the neighborhood of the conflicted region, reducing their spending power. This creates an overall uncertainty in the economies and markets of countries, compelling investors to behave reluctantly in terms of investing money due to the fear of losing money. Therefore, money is withdrawn from the markets, boosting inflation even higher. Another problematic dimension of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict is the increase in number of refugees from the affected region. These refugees sought refuge in neighboring countries that are already suffering lack of supply. The difference between supply and demand touched the roofs, with further supporting inflation and causing turmoil to tighten its foundations in the affected regions. Impact on Ukraine and Russia. Given this war has had impacts and will still have threats for global economies, the war has greatly damaged the involved countries. Ukraine's economy has already shrank by 16% in the first quarter of 2022, and with things not seeming to settle sooner, it's a fearful fact for Ukraine that its economy may shrink by 40% by the end of this year. Russia, on the other hand, is suffering from severe sanctions. Although its energy trade is continuing, Russia has been cut off from the global and financial system. Western companies have withdrawn themselves from Russia as part of the boycott and sanctions, which has turned out to be a great shock for Russia too. Europe is expected to deal with the risk associated with the hosting of an influx of refugees. Gas prices have also recently fluctuated by as much as 70% in a single day, which highlights the sensitivity of the current international affairs. There is a risk of German gas imports being cut off, which may result in 2 to 4% of economic contraction. The risks in the Russian economy are traumatizing. Although being superior in mostly on dimensions than Ukraine, the Russian economy had faced and is facing issues by falling stock markets, potentially devaluing the Russian ruble to record lows as people rush to exchange the ruble. With the withdrawal of other major organizations such as BP Government Pension Fund of Norway, the Russian economy has stumbled across losses as much as of $27 billion, which is a huge blow in known time. With these sudden abruptions taking place in the Russian economy, it is of no doubt that Russia will suffer a great deal of loss if proper measures of de-escalation are not taken. Crude oil. Many countries, as an encountering action to the move by Russia to invade Ukraine, have halted their oil imports from Russia, given that Russia is a major supplier of oil, in order to comprehend solidarity for the Ukrainians and to condemn Russia's moves. This global boycott of Russian oil imports has damaged the Russian economy, and its exports have been lowered, which may potentially lead to huge deficits in the Russian economy, which may become hard to deal with. On the other hand, countries that have cancelled their imports of oil from Russia have turned their gates open towards other oil suppliers, majority of them being in the Middle East, making this entire conflict a way to boost their exports and hence economic development. With all the major actions being taken in a unified manner against Russia to condemn its actions, various countries and organizations such as IMF, World Bank, etc. are preparing relief and assistance packages for Ukraine to help it battle its crisis and aid it to navigate itself out of this turmoil. Russia and Ukraine militarily. It is of no doubt that when it comes to technology, manpower, military, and defense, then Russia has the capabilities to outbattle Ukraine by dominating it upon the basis of its technological advancement and, above all, its number. Russia has been conducting different types of strikes by at times raining down missiles in the Ukrainian skies or at times sending flocks of attack choppers to devastate the region. Russia doesn't want to stop, as it has been bombing Kyiv and intensely shelling Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, in order to unhinge its defenses in all ways. Ukraine, on the other hand, has also demonstrated a decent spirit to defend and fight upon the basis of support from its allies and in the wake of ensuring its freedom. Ukraine has gotten a pumped-up support from its allies in the forms of finance, militant devices, and technological support, which has greatly empowered its abilities to battle the threats of Russia. Ukraine used some strong weapons to encounter the threat posed by the Russian tanks, as the Ukrainian military destroyed a substantial number of Russian tanks. This has greeted the Russians with a surprise. It must end. The war is persisting, although it has been projected by the entire world of how devastating the conflict can be. The two countries involved in this conflict are suffering to a great extent, undoubtedly, yet, with all the bloodshed continuing in the region, it is and will have terrible far-reaching repercussions. Whatever is happening at the borders of the two nations is happening, yet it can have consequences far beyond their borders, posing a risk not only to their neighbors, but also the world, and in the worst way. It is maligning the world economy. The war is going on, and no one knows exactly when can it end. I hope the data and information shown in this video was helpful for you to understand the dynamics and consequences of the conflict. Do let us know if we have missed any important aspect of the war. We should surely love to address it too. And on that note, consider subscribing to our channel if you found this video helpful and informative. And don't forget to turn on the post notifications so that you can stay up to date with all the similar recent affairs. See you with another great video.